okay, maybe there's going to be a little bit of change and all that. But again, they
Change
didn't
of
do
what?
that.
We didn't change anything on.
We didn't change anything. Actually, I think the truth about it is, well, we knew we were going to. I don't sound that way. So a few minutes into the match, we lost it psychologically.
Well, it's one of those games that you just have to live by. That's the best I can say. Okay. Let me read out the letter from former President Olusegun Obasanjo regarding the state of the nation. Very important that we have this. Um, Here would have to be his words. It says, "I'm constrained to write to you this open letter. I decided to make it an open letter because the issue is very weighty and must be greatly worrisome to all concerned Nigerians, and that means all right-thinking Nigerians and those residents in Nigeria. Since the issue is of momentous concern to all well-meaning and all right-thinking Nigerians, it must be of great concern to you. And collective thinking and dialoguing is the best way of finding an appropriate and adequate solution to the problem. The contents of this letter, therefore, should be available to all those who can help in preferring effective solutions for the problem of insecurity in the land." One of the spin-off and accelerants is the misinformation and disinformation through the use of fake news. A number of articles in recent days have been attributed to me by some people who I believe may be seeking added credence and an attentive audience from their opinions and viewpoints. As you know very well, I will always boldly own what I say and disown what is put in my mouth. But the issue I'm addressing here is very serious. It is the issue of life and death for all of us and for our dear country, Nigeria. This issue can no longer be uh, treated and nonchalance and swept under the carpet or treated with coddling glove. This issue is hitting at the foundation of our existence as Nigerians and fast eroding the roots of our Nigerian community. I'm very much worried and afraid that we are on the precipice and dangerous reaching a tipping point where it may no longer be possible to hold danger at bay without being immodest now. As a Nigerian who still bears the scar of the Nigerian Civil War on my body, and with a son who bears the scar of fighting Boko Haram on his body, you can understand. I hope why I am so concerned. Okay, I have to take that again. You can understand, and I hope why I'm so concerned. When people are desperate and feel that they cannot have confidence in the ability of government to provide security for their lives and properties, they will take recourse to anything and everything that can guarantee their security individually and collectively. Now, let's make that our first point. Let me note this down because these are some of the key things to extract from this very statement. And it's not just about lumping a reaction to to the whole of this statement. It's also about just trying to make some level of reasoning from some of the key points in this. Yeah. Okay. So let's have that down. The part where he said, "I hope." Why I'm so concerned. When people are desperate and feel that they cannot have confidence in the ability of government to provide security for their lives and property, they will take a recourse to anything and everything that can guarantee their security individually and collectively. Okay, so that's one part. For over 10 years, 4 of which you have been the captain of the ship, Boko Haram has menacingly ravaged the land, and in spite of government's claim of victory over Boko Haram, the potency and the activities of Boko Haram, where they are active, remain undiminished, putting light to the government's claim. The recent explanation of the Chief of Army Staff for non-victory due to lack of commitment and lack of motivation on the part of troops bordering on sabotage speaks for itself. So let's make that our second part because later on, we do know that the Chief of Army Staff did come out to say it was taken out of context. And I know very well that I do have that very piece of that conversation where he did talk about what the motivation of the soldiers, yeah, what he strongly feels about the soldiers and how they may not no, not just have been responding well. Okay, on this. So I'm gonna have that playback soon enough. I'm just going to search for it and play back soon enough so that we know where we stand and clearly try to examine these issues with what everybody has said across the timeline. So second part. So Daniel, you may have to help me to remember to get that part where the chief of army staff Brutai talked about the
That's the first
motivation.
paragraph.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we have that now. Then he goes on to say what you will. Boko Haram is still a daily issue of insecurity for those who are victimized, killed, maimed, kidnapped, raped, sold into slavery, and forced into marriage, and for children forcibly recruited into carrying bombs on them to detonate among corn
Or the
sticks.
stick method.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
stick method, which is literally you bait somebody out with what they want and then you deal with them, right?
Yeah.
Well, would Nigeria be doing this? That's a thing to venture into, if I may say. Okay. Headsmen, okay, no, I've jumped now. It says, how else do you deal with issues such as only about 50% literacy in the Northeast and over 70% unemployment? Yeah, okay. So we have that still making up that particular point. Herdsmen and farmer crisis, and many started with the government treating the issue with cuddling glove instead of armor. It has festered and spread. Today it has developed into banditry, kidnapping, armed robbery, and killings all over the country. The unfortunate situation is that the criminality is being perceived as a Fulani quote now. He puts a quote to this open quote Fulani and quote now menace unleashed by Fulani elites in the different parts of the country for a number of reasons, but even more unfortunately, many Nigerians and non-Nigerians who are friends of Nigeria attach vicarious responsibility to you as a Fulani elite and current captain of Nigerian ship. Perception may be as potent as reality at times. Whatever may be the grievances of Fulanis, if any, they need to put it out in open and the grievances. If legitimately be addressed, and if other ethnic groups have grievances, let them also be brought out in the open and addressed through debate and dialogue. Now, while debate and dialogue, let me quickly also say this that
Confirm.
yeah, because it brings to
2014.
mind what former President Jonathan
Exactly.
did say on Friday. I'm just going, but
He gave his excuses for why he wasn't able to implement it then and all.
Yeah.
But we'll go into it later. We'll talk about it more.
yes, I'm trying to pick out the date, July 12th. Let me see. I should have this. Okay, yeah. Let me
Okay,
try it.
like an audio clip.
Oh, trust me, that's my signature. I don't play with these things. So,
True. Evidence.
so that when we're talking, it's not like they're saying and say, what else? Okay, so where am I now? So he talks about the main issue, if I may dare say, is poor management or mismanagement of diversity, which, on the other hand, is one of the greatest and most important assets. As a result, very onerous cloud is gathering, a rain of destruction, violence, disaster, and disunity can only be the outcome. Big question. Do you agree with him on this very messaging? All right, we get to that. Okay, moving forward now. And of the reign of destruction, violence, disaster, and disunity can only be the outcome. Nothing should be taken for granted. The clock is ticking with the cacophony of dissatisfaction, disaffection everywhere in and outside the country. The presidency and the Congress in the United States are signaled to us to put our house in order. The House of Lords in the UK have debated the Nigerian security situation. Let me take that down because I would like to share that with people what the UK House of Commons did say. And they did debate Nigerian issue in 2018 in June. No one can stop hate speech, violent agitation, and smothering violent agitation if he fans the embers of hatred, dissatisfaction, and violence. It will continue to snowball until it's out of control. A stitch in time saves nine, goes the old saying, old wise saying.
That statement actually sounds accusatory.
With the death of Funke, Chief Fashoraty's daughter, some sympathetic Nigerian groups are saying enough is enough. Professor Aya, a distinguished Nigerian merit laureate, has this to say. He said, We can no longer say with certainty we have a nation. Niger Delta leaders, Southeastern leaders, Middle Belt leaders, and Northern Elders Forum have not remained quiet. Different ordinary Nigerians at home and abroad are calling for different measures to address or ameliorate the situation. All the calls and cries can only continue to be ignored at the expense of Nigerian unity, if it is continued, if not its continued existence. Let's take that down. Yeah. We're taking it down. That's the reason. We're not just trying to read through the letter for reading sake. There's so many points in there to agree or disagree with, depending on how you see things. To be explicit and without equivocation, Mr. President and General, it goes on to say. Now, mark these words now. To be explicit and without equivocation, Mr. President and General. Remember, President Buhari is a retired general, but now he doesn't write retired general. It's a letter, so he's mindful of his choice of words. It says, Mr. President and General, I'm deeply worried about four avoidable calamities. I'm writing that down as well. First one, abandoning Nigeria into the hands of criminals who are all being suspected, rightly or wrongly, as Fulanis and terrorists of Boko Haram type. 1. 2. Spontaneous or planned reprisal attacks against Fulanis, which may inadvertently or advertently mushroom into pogrom or Rwanda-type genocide that we did not believe could happen, and yet it happened. That was in 2004. Yeah. Similar attacks against any other tribe or ethnic group anywhere in the country, initiated by rumors, fears, intimidation, revenge, capable of leading to pogrom. Violent uprising beginning from one section of the country, spreading quickly to other areas and leading to dismemberment of the country. It has happened to Yugoslavia not too long ago. Many of you know Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia it used to be in the Soviet Union, the eastern part of Europe, right? And then when Yugoslavia broke up, it did break down into about 5 other countries. Eventually, that's where the likes of Ukraine do come from. And I bet to say Croatia I had in mind. If we do not act now, one or all of these scenarios may happen. That is, he has stated 4 scenarios that may happen. We must pray and take effective actions at the same time. The initiative is in the hands of the president of the nation, but he cannot do it alone. In my part of the world, if you're sharpening your cutlass and a madman comes from behind to take the cutlass from you, you need other people's assistance to have your cutlass back without being armed. The madmen with serious criminal intent and terrorism as core value have taken cutlass of security, and the need for assistance to regain control is obviously compelling and must be embraced. Now, that brings another point forward. The part about, does this mean
we're not really in control?
Oh yeah, you get my question. So let me take that down as a bullet point. And then you have another part. It says, a couple of weeks ago at a public lecture, I said, among other things, in all these issues of mobilization for national unity, stability, security, cooperation, and development, growth, and progress, there's no consensus. Like in the issue of security, government should open up discussions, debate, and dialogue as part of consultation at different levels, and the outcome of such deliberation should be collated to form inputs into a national conference to come up with the solution that would effectively deal with the issues and lead to rapid development, growth, and progress, which will give us awesome society, enhanced living standard, livelihood in all-inclusive standard society. It will be a national program. We need unity of purpose and nationally accepted strategic roadmap that will not change with the whims and caprices of any government. Now, this reminds me of the Lagos formula. No matter the government that is coming in place, they've laid out what you should do for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what it ought to be.
It must be owned by citizens. People's policy and strategy implemented by the government, no matter its color and leaning. Some of the groups that I will suggest to be contacted are traditional rulers, past head of states. No matter how competent or incompetent they may have been, how much more they have contributed to the mess we are in. Sounds like somebody's trained this. past shades, yes, sir. Past heads of paramilitary organizations, private sector, civil society, community leaders, particularly in the most affected areas, present and past governors, present and past local government leaders, religious leaders, past heads of states, past intelligence chiefs, past head of civil service, and relevant current and retired diplomats, member of opposition, and any group that can be deemed relevant. The president must be seen addressing this issue with utmost seriousness and with maximum dispatch and getting all hands on deck to help. If there's failure, the principal responsibility will be that of the president, no one else. We need cohesion and concentration of efforts, maximum force, political, economic, social, psychological, and military to deal successfully with the menace of criminality and terrorism separately and together. Blame game gone. Blame game among own forces must be avoided. It is debilitating and only helpful for our adversaries. We cannot deter anymore. It is time to confront this threat headlong in a manner that is holistic, inclusive, and purposeful. For the sake of Nigeria and Nigerians, I pray that God may grant you, as our president, the wisdom and the understanding, the political will, and the courage to do what is right when it is right without fear or favor. May God save, secure, protect, and bless Nigeria. He opened to us a window of opportunity that we can still use to prevent the worst happening. As we say in my village, may God forbid back pain. Olusegun Obasanjo, July 15, 2019, released by Kehinde Akiyemi, a special assistant on media. That would have to be the letter from the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, written out to anyone who is able to listen. Stay with me. When we do come back after the break, Danladi and I will dig around into this conversation even now. We'll be back after now.
Nothing breaks the news like news. Trust me,
it's very heavy. It's objective.
And hey, let's take all the biggest debates on radio, provide insight, experience, and give us unforgettable.
Of course, you know where they're coming from. You know themselves.
Let's talk. Live.
That's why he deliberately made reference to the Civil War, during the Scottish War, and the South during the Scottish Boko Haram.
This matter is not over yet.
With Astar from Kuwait, satellite broadband is now finally affordable. For just 26,000 naira and data plan as low as 5,500 naira. You'll be able to connect to your home, connect your business, connect your applications, stream, call, share, watch, download. Possibilities are now limitless. So go on, visit Kuwait.com.
Allegedly, get connected to Fulani codes and all that. So it's technical
like Coolink in partnership with
when such a situation.
Corruption is a major problem in Nigeria, and the nation's development caught in its grip.
So Fulani,
Public Conscience is a radio program designed to protect the conscience of the nation. The target is to check the impact of corruption as it threatens to transform into Nigeria's nemesis. We share anti-corruption ideas.
Yes, it's so opportunity that that's how
Public Conscience is a production of Pioneer, a progressive impact organization for community development, with support from the Makata Foundation. Join us on 95.1 FM, Nigeria Intro, Abuja, 10:05 AM every Wednesday. Drop your opinion at info@primorg.org site, www.primorg.org. Follow us on our social media platforms at Official Primorg. Primorg. Advocacy for good governance. With Astar from Kuwait, satellite broadband is now finally affordable. Get the full deal for just 26,000 naira and data plan as low as 5,500 naira. You'll be able to connect to your home, connect your business, connect your applications, stream, call, share, watch, download with Astar. Possibilities are now limitless. So go on, visit coolink.ng or call 01-2710-252 today.